What's good, you guys? You know who it is, man. This your boy, Mr. Relentless Lex, and I'm back like I never left this mother. Yes, Sirski. All right, man. So we got Lauryn Hill dropping a bombshell on the music industry, saying that they tried to sacrifice her, bro. So Lauryn said she ran for the border. Spicy.
The music industry is just a microcosm of the world. So whenever you stand for something and you stand for goodness and truth, you will always get resistance. That's period. Whether you're in the pharmaceutical industry,
it's hard balancing and juggling. It's hard, being, the regular person that you are one day and the next day being under public scrutiny,
So Lauryn Hill is finally breaking her silence on how the industry tried to sacrifice her, which is what made her disappear from the spotlight. And let me tell y'all, you don't know the real definition of Hollyweird until you've heard the story of Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill was at the top of her game after she released the iconic album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. When we suddenly stopped seeing her in public, she dropped one of the most iconic albums of all time and then dipped. Many people believe this has to do with her getting exploited by the industry and the media and not getting protected by her crew members from the Fugees when she needed them. However, Lauryn is now telling us that we don't even know the half of it because it goes way deeper than we know. But did the industry really try to sacrifice Lauryn Hill? And were her Fugees members somehow involved in whatever happened to her? Let's break it down.
Any comments at all?
Lauren, will there be a Chapter 7 bankruptcy filing to follow up?
Any comments to the sentencing today?
So Lauryn Hill is undoubtedly one of the most influential female hip-hop and R&B artists of all time. No, scratch that. She is one of the most influential artists of all time, period. At a very young age, Lauryn was out here setting records that these new girlies are still struggling to catch up with. What set Lauryn apart from other female MCs was not just her incredible talent, and she was really talented. Rolling Stone once described her as a quadruple threat because she was a rapper, world-class singer, songwriter, and producer. But the thing that really sealed Lauryn's spot in the greatest of all time conversation was the grace and plain swagger she showed in public and on stage. That and the fact that she laced her work with many political messages that felt like a break from the status quo. To give you a better understanding of Lauryn's musical genius, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Lauryn Hill was born to parents Valerie Hill, a teacher, and Mal Hill, a computer and management consultant who raised her in South Orange, New Jersey. From a young age, Lauryn was exposed to a lot of music because her parents loved music. Her mother played the piano and her father had a sweet voice. So much of her musical influence comes from the artists she listened to as a child, including Curtis Mayfield, Stevie Wonder, Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight, and Marvin Gaye. All of this made Lauryn fall in love with music, and she already knew she was going to be an entertainer from a young age. When she was 13, Lauryn performed at Showtime at the Apollo, and the audience treated her roughly, booing her off stage. Although she still tried to finish her performance, she broke down in tears after the show. At the time, her mother, Valerie, told her straight up that if she was going to cry every time she didn't get the reaction she wanted from the crowd, then maybe show business wasn't for her after all. But as Valerie recalled, Lauryn was totally not having that at all. She was determined to become a star. Well, Lauryn would get her wish when, during her freshman year of high school, a mutual friend introduced her to Pras, who was looking for a vocalist to join a music group he was creating. Pras and Lauryn, alongside a third female vocalist, started their musical journey under the name Translator Crew. After a while, the third member of the crew was replaced by Pras's cousin, Wyclef, and the band started performing at local shows and high school talent shows. Lauryn also soon started rapping rather than just being the group's vocalist. As her music career was trying to find its footing, Lauryn also launched her acting career. In 1991, she and Pras appeared in MC Lyte's off-Broadway hip-hop rendering of Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. It was while she was doing this gig that an agent noticed her and began plugging her into more acting roles. Later that year, Lauryn began appearing on the soap opera As the World Turns as troubled teen Kira Johnson. In 1993, she starred alongside...
Bro, I didn't know she played in As the World Turns. I really didn't. I thought Sister Act was her first gig. That's super dope, though. She was young. Did y'all know that? I didn't know that. For real. I thought, like I said, I thought Sister Act was her first little gig, though.
Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, performing the songs His Eye is on the Sparrow and Joyful Joyful. In 1993, Pras, Lauryn, and Wyclef renamed their group the Fugees, derived from the word refugees, which was a derogatory term for Haitian Americans. Around this time, Wyclef and Lauryn started dating, although Wyclef had been feeling Lauryn up for a while. What's crazy is there was a 6-year gap between them, so when Lauryn was 18, Wyclef was around 26. It would later come out that he had been messing around with Lauryn for years before they finally took their relationship public. Wyclef allegedly started getting closer to Lauryn under the guise of mentorship because he knew Pras would not be happy with him for trying to get with Lauryn. I mean, Pras did say he literally took Lauryn off her mother's hands when she was around 12, 13, and promised to look after her. But Wyclef allegedly started sneaking around with Lauryn while keeping things on the low until she turned 18, and he finally felt safe enough to take things public. Meanwhile, in 1994, the Fugees released their first album, Blunted on Reality, which kind of flopped commercially and didn't get many favorable reviews from critics. However, it was still a shining moment for Lauryn because her bars on the track Some Seek Stardom stood out to fans. By 1996, the Fugees had released their second album, The Score, which was miles better than their previous album. It peaked at #1 on the Billboard 200 and stayed in the top 10 for over 6 months. It also sold over 20 million copies worldwide, winning the Fugees a Grammy for Best Rap Album. It was also later included on Rolling Stone's list of 500 greatest albums of all time. The album once again highlighted Lauryn's musical talents, and her rendition of Charles Fox's Killing Me Softly became the group's breakout hit. Around this time, people began to pressure Lauryn to leave the group and kickstart her solo career, but she remained fiercely loyal to them. In the summer of 1996, Lauryn met Rohan Marley, Bob Marley's son, and started dating him as a ploy to get out of her relationship with Wyclef. Eventually, she got pregnant, and initially, everyone was confused about whether the child belonged to Rohan or Wyclef. But Lauryn later made it clear that Rohan was the father of her baby, and like that, she and Wyclef broke up. In 1997, the Fugees split and started working on solo projects. However, to Lauryn's surprise, Wyclef didn't show her any of the support she had been showing the Fugees all these years. Pras talked about this in an interview where he said, "I remember when Pepsi wanted her for a commercial, and they were like, 'All we want is you. We don't need the other two cats.' She said, 'Without them, I'm not doing it.' There's a lot of things she didn't do because of the group. Then, when she goes to work on her music and she doesn't have the support, that can have an effect mentally. She felt there was no support on that angle. When you feel the ones you stuck your neck out for ain't doing the same for you, it brings a certain animosity and bitterness." Anyway, Lauryn released her debut album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, in 1998 to rave reviews from critics. What stood out the most
That album was so fire, bro. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Bro, that album was so fire. My favorite jam on there, or my favorite song on there, right, was X Factor, bro. Or was it it was X Factor. It was X Factor, man. Y'all comment down below y'all favorite song of Lauryn Hill's first solo album.
about the album was how Lauryn Hill blended different genres together, from R&B to doo-wop, pop, hip-hop, and reggae. In just 1 week, Miseducation sold 423,000 copies and would go on to sell 10 million copies in the US and 20 million worldwide. The album also received 10 Grammy nominations and won 5, making Lauryn the first woman to receive that many nominations and awards in one night. It goes without saying that Miseducation has been included in multiple best album lists, including Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time. With all the records the album set, Lauryn Hill cemented her place as one of the greatest to ever do music. Now, you would think Lauryn and her management would be quick to capitalize on the success of this album to push out more projects and get Lauryn more deals, but her career just fell into a downward spiral from there. It started with getting hit with a lawsuit in 1998 by New Arc, claiming they wrote on many of the songs in Lauryn's album but didn't get properly credited for it. At the time, Lauryn's record label, Columbia Records, advised her to settle out of court, but Lauryn felt like settling would be an admission of guilt, and she wanted to protect her name and credibility. Unfortunately, Lauryn eventually had to reach a $5 million settlement, which greatly messed with her confidence. Her friends believed the reason why it hit her so hard was that she believed everyone she worked with was like family to her, and she tried to treat everyone fairly. But the fact that they turned around and sued her made her feel like she couldn't trust anyone. After that lawsuit, sources close to Lauryn said she just lost interest in getting back in the business. In a 2003 article by Rolling Stone, it was was revealed that Lauryn turned down roles in movies like Charlie's Angels, The Bourne Identity, The Mexican, and The Matrix. Around this point, it seemed like the pressures of success were already getting to Lauryn, and she started having mental health issues.
But it's hard, it's hard balancing and juggling. It's hard, being, the regular person that you are one day and the next day being under public scrutiny, having to live your life, in front of a camera. It's not an easy thing.
A friend told Rolling Stone, "I think Lauryn grew to despise who Lauryn Hill was. Not that she despised herself as a human being, but she despised the manufactured International Superstar magazine cover girl who wasn't able to go out of the house looking a little tattered on a given day. Lauryn put a lot of pressure on herself after all that success, and then one day she said, F it." Lauryn herself confirmed that she had been having mental health struggles in 2001 when she recorded her MTV Unplugged 2.0. Although the project flopped and didn't get many sales, the people who did listen to it claimed it painted a clearer picture of what Lauryn must have been going through at the time. For example, at some point in the record, Lauryn can be heard breaking down in tears, saying, "I'm crazy and deranged. I'm emotionally unstable. I used to get dressed for y'all. I don't do that anymore. I used to be a performer, and I really don't consider myself a performer anymore. I had created this public persona, this public illusion, and it held me hostage. I couldn't be a real person because you're too afraid of what your public will say. At that point, I had to do some dying." At this, people started wondering how on earth Lauryn went from the classy, savvy artist who released Miseducation to a struggling woman who could barely keep herself from breaking down in tears in the studio. Many people attributed Lauryn's spiral to her toxic love life, particularly in her relationship with Wyclef, who later revealed that he felt the Fugees broke up because of his relationship with Lauryn, which caused a lot of tension behind the scenes. That, and the fact that even after he got married to his wife, Claudinette, he was still sneaking around with Lauryn. Obviously, Pras was not happy about the relationship, so that's one thing. But Wyclef also tried to make it seem like Lauryn was the reason why their relationship was unstable. According to him, the relationship was toxic, and Lauryn usually got physical with him when they had arguments. In his autobiography, Wyclef wrote, "We had huge fights, and a few times when it went down, she started swinging at me right there in the seats. People would scatter. We never got arrested, but we came close a few times in Europe." It sounds like the fights used to be pretty intense for Wyclef to have been talking about them, possibly getting arrested. But what stood out to fans was that Wyclef didn't take any responsibility for the role he played in Lauryn's downfall. He just blamed everything on her and tried to make her seem crazy. And what's that thing Dave Chappelle said about Hollywood painting people as crazy once they start to go against the status quo? They did it to Cat Williams when he called out the industry. They did it to Taryn Manning. They did it to Rose McGowan. Literally, the fastest way to get kicked out of the industry is to say something that the higher-ups and gatekeepers don't like. And this brings us to another speculation people have made regarding Lauryn, that she was sacrificed by Hollywood. Allegedly, some higher-ups in Hollywood did not like the political nature of her music and her speeches, and this made her a perfect target for so-called Hollyweird sacrifices.
The music industry is just a microcosm of the world. So whenever you stand for something and you stand for goodness and truth, you will always get resistance. That's period. Whether you're in the pharmaceutical industry, the record industry, or whatever. Whenever you stand for truth and for the service, the service of others. See, I could make money very easily. I could make records that are self-indulgent and, basically self-promote me. I could do that. Promote myself. That was redundant, but you know what I mean. Just do those things. It's very easy. As a matter of fact, lyrically as an MC, that stuff comes easy. But in order to promote something higher, I feel now, at the ripe old age of 25, that the only thing that I could do is serve others. You understand what I'm saying? And because there are people who have not reached that point in their walk, yes, there's a little anger, there's a little resentment, because you raise a standard. You especially when you do it and you make some noise, and you do it and people actually listen to what you have to say, and like your record is bumping on the radio and you're saying something that holds a mirror up to a lot of the negativity and self-indulgent things and messages that a lot of other people, but we're all young.
Remember that time Lauryn went on her infamous rant against the Catholic Church at the 2003 Christmas concert at the Vatican? Lauryn took everyone by surprise during that performance when she said she only accepted the invitation so she could protest the child scandals that took place in the church. She blasted the church from the stage saying, "I'm sorry if I am about to offend some of you. I did not accept my invitation to celebrate with you the birth of Christ. Instead, I ask you why you are not in mourning for him in this place." Then she went ahead to call the church leaders out on their corruption and exploitation of those under their leadership, screaming at them to repent. The rant went on for several minutes, and despite the backlash she received, Lauryn stood by what she said. This made many people to believe Lauryn was deranged, out of it, or on drugs. Allegedly, Lauryn really stepped on many nerves with that little speech because her career got blackballed after that. I mean, it wasn't the first time they made a legendary artist lose their career and legacy for calling out the Catholic Church. Sinead O'Connor faced a similar backlash after she ripped the photo of the Pope to protest. Then, some people blamed it all on Lauryn's increased closeness with Brother Anthony, a shady spiritual she met in 2001. Lauryn's closest friends believed Brother Anthony brainwashed Lauryn because after she started hanging around him, she stopped doing interviews, wearing makeup, or even appearing in public. She would attend meetings and Bible studies organized by Brother Anthony 5 times a week and didn't want to speak to any of her friends. Things got even crazier when she fired everyone on her team, a decision many people believed was influenced by Brother Anthony. According to inside sources, Lauryn's friends felt like Brother Anthony was taking advantage of Lauryn's vulnerable situation. He encouraged her to give up her money, seclude herself, and basically cut off everyone from her life.
What?
However, in all this, some still believe that everything that happened to Lauryn wouldn't have happened if the people closest to her had taken care of her when they should. In fact, it seems Lauryn believes she was deliberately sacrificed by the people closest to her. In 2004, Lauryn did an interview with Trace magazine where she gave her version of what really went down between her and Wyclef. In the interview, she suggested that Wyclef was aggressive and controlling and that he was the one who tried to manipulate her in the relationship. The Fugees was a conspiracy to control, to manipulate, and to encourage dependence. I took a lot of abuse that many people would not have taken in these circumstances. As a young woman, I saw the best in everyone, but I did not see the lust and insecurities of men. I discovered what a lie was and how lies manifested themselves. Praz also blamed Wyclef for everything that happened with Lauryn, and even for the eventual disbandment of the group. He said, "He's the cancer of the Fugees. He's the cancer. You can quote me. He's the reason why it got wrecked to begin with. He's the reason why it's not fixed." When he was asked if he believed Wyclef was the reason for Lauryn's troubles, he said, "Maybe, but not directly." It was clear he didn't want to spill everything on his mind, but you could still tell he was not happy with the things Wyclef did with Lauryn. In 2021, Lauryn did an interview for Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums podcast, where she talked about how she had to step away from the spotlight to protect herself and her family from the dark and negative energy she was exposed to in the industry. "I sacrificed the quality of my life to help people experience something that had been unreachable before then. When I saw people struggle to appreciate what that took, I had to pull back and make sure I and my family were safe and good. I'm still doing that." She then added that the celebrity is often treated like a sacrifice, the fatted calf, then boxed in and harshly judged for very normal and natural responses to abnormal circumstances. Many fans interpreted this to mean Lauryn had seen some things in the industry that scared her into leaving the limelight and her fighting for her life. But now I want to know what y'all think about Lauryn Hill's journey through the music industry. Do you think she was targeted by some higher-ups or she just fell off?
Man, of course she was targeted by the higher ups. The higher ups. Man, just like she said, man, when you speak your truth, they don't like that. The higher ups do not. If they can't program you like a robot, bro, they gonna go against you. If you go against the machine gonna go against you. But then once you go with the machine, when they get fed up and tired of you, drop you like a bad habit, pick up the next thing smoking, then make you look crazy or say you're on drugs or something for speaking your truth. So even though she may have lost a couple of deals or wasn't signing to no more record labels or anything, she still have her integrity though. And I'm pretty sure she have income coming in with her integrity. So man, I'm gonna say shout out to Lauryn Hill, man, for holding her head for real.